it's also go all over the world. I also watch CNN News, Reuters, what else? CNN, BBC, yes, and then also the other interesting media organization. So overall, you say it's a brand new and it's good, particularly the role of the social media and the media try to get and grab the information as fast as possible. And also the media, they don't forget about their role out to inform, and also the news also should be accurate and also based on fact. But anyway, there's still a lot of criticism from the public that the media ignore their code of ethics principle. What do you think about this issue? Do you see any media that maybe they go beyond the line? You mentioned about very thin between get the news and also ethics. So what do you think about in the media? The public still criticize a lot that the media forget about code of ethics. Anyone, please?
Well, as I said, there's a media disruption, as we all familiar with the term. That means that instead of being only the mainstream media, now we have the citizen and people can participate. And what we learned from the incident is that it's a two-sided coin. On the one hand, it's very good that media has been monitored by the public. But on the other hand, there's a so-called cyberbullying of the journalists also. And maybe a lot of you here didn't heard or care. But I think, to be fair to them, Dr. Nattha already mentioned, the situation was quite unorganized in the beginning from both sides. And it was a local news with local operation, and everybody just playing by ears. And by doing that, of course, that it might seem chaotic, or the media corps Thai have been comparing to the zombie in the movie. That they look like zombie. Look at them. Look at her eyes. There's one famous anchor woman from a very well-known TV star. It's totally unfair to her, I think, because she just be really eager to bring the news to the people at home. And they just talk, come on. The camera here. And her eyes are really alert. I wouldn't mention the name, but those who are following Thai television would know who I'm talking about. And I think we have to be fair, because the new technology with this Facebook Live thing is really designed for a very informal broadcasting or transmission, streaming. So it doesn't really cut when we press the button. Stop, it doesn't stop. It kind of lingered for 3 seconds or so, but that 3 seconds turned out to be a very judgmental evidence for the public to accuse other people. You know how sometimes when we do broadcasting, we are really formal, we doing our best, but when the director called cut, then we back to our informal self. So well done. And we might do some chit chat among ourselves. That's the industry. But among ourselves, at Thai PBS, we really gave a warning that be very, very extra careful, because this new technology is not big camera like that one, that when you press stop, it stops. It doesn't stop at will. Sometimes it lingers on for a minute. And that 1 minute I think it's one of the first incidents that the public started to get really aggravated by Thai media, because this one gentleman, he said like, we have to listen to the order from the governor. Why? Remember that? And I think that kind of criticism that came out, not intentionally, was being clipped by the social media warrior, and then they start to make a viral clip out of that, and start, in the social media, we have this thing called, it's not an economy of truth, but it's an economy of attention. So whoever can make stuff that get the most attention wins. So if the mistake that the mainstream media made, then it's valuable. So someone will think, hey, if I kind of milk on that or make the most dramatize the situation and turn someone to be someone that we can witch on, like witch hunting. That can be really interesting. I think it started out, sorry, to not come in here and say, well, Thai media ethics needs to be improved, and that's true too. I didn't come to defend that we are perfect beast, but what I'm trying to say is that there are these things that are going on, and I think it got out of hand. So much so that at the end moment, Thai media didn't even allow to interview their own people. That's kind of sad from the way I look at it. We are turned out to be greedy, inhumane group of people that will just gonna destroy everything on our path. And what is being compromised when the public start to think that is their right to information and their freedom of expression, which I think is still very, very important. So among this fervor of feeling how bad the ethics of the media in general is, I think we have to be aware too that there's something larger at stake. That's my point.
You mentioned about that now. It has a phenomenon, something like grabbing the attention, right? Grabbing the attention economy. So when the media would like to get the news very fast, so they might seem to ignore about ethics because they want to get the news and then they don't care about what the other people are thinking about that, and then they just tell the story. So this maybe they jump beyond the principle of ethics. What do you think between grab the attention and the rights of the public? I mean, you have to report the news honestly, accurately, and also respect the rights of the public. What do you think about that between grab the attention and respect the rights of the people? Yes, Dr. Nattha.
Okay, well, I think you need to do both, but in the way that in good taste. People talk about ethics, and actually it's not something quite stiff or a really strict code. I think it's involved, the main principle is, of course, accuracy, but then we have to balance that between the privacy of people that we might have to be in contact with. And then we have to think about independence, that our news or our information are not being tainted by maybe our own preference or maybe by the influence of the outside. And I think partiality still works, and it's kind of proved to the point that people still kind of hungry for that. They still want the news to perform properly. But you ask me, what is more important, right, between attention grabbing and
code of ethics, the principle, seem that maybe they might forget.
Those who forget make mistakes. That's all I can say. I think code of ethics or the core value of journalism is something that's not compromisable. It's not something that's bound to change, I hope, at least for me. And those that make mistakes have been shouted at loudly this time. But at the same time, what I'm trying to argue here is that we have to be fair for those who try to do their job too, and not be too judgmental to think that all forms of journalism are bad or self-serving. I think that's my, because people think, oh, these reporters actually they don't really want to serve the public, because the whole core of our ability to ask questions or to be probing, because we believe that we're serving the public interest. And sometimes in doing that, if you've gone too far, the public will say, well, you're not serving us, you're serving yourself. You want your station to have better rating or better fix. But one thing I just want to put a note without being, by being Thai PBS, and lots of you probably know that our ranking we're climbing very high during the crisis. And this is something really sensitive, because I don't want to say that we're better in shape or form, but it goes to show that people still pay for credibility. in time of crisis, people don't crave for sensationalism. It's sensational enough. What they want is something that they can trust. And I think this, from my, you asked me, so in the first round, I said that those who adjusted quickly enough survive. So those who realize that the core value of journalism, accuracy, impartiality, humanity, do no harm to others is really important in journalism. And transparency, show why we want this new still work and sell. And people still want that when it comes to the most critical time. You don't want sensational reporter, you don't want someone to go and do, some weird acting about this thing. You want someone who really being calm and say something that they really need to know. That's
very good. That you got an interesting point about the people is very important, particularly when they heard the news, and also the media should be aware that they also should stick to the code of ethics in their work, and also they should not focus on sensationalism, but they also should put their work based on the fact. This is what you mentioned, isn't it?
That's right.
That, and also they also being aware of the public scrutinize, right? So they have to be careful about their work. Dr. Nattha, regarding about these matters, what do you think about when Pipope mentioned that the Thai media did not get much access, for example, to interview the, I would like to say that the characters in the incident, right, or the boys, and also the court. But it seemed that the international media had more period, isn't it? So what do you think about the coverage between the Thai media and also the international media regarding of the cave rescue operation?
Thank you, Ajahn. To follow up from the first round that I mentioned and to answer your question, let's think back to about the beginning period of this coverage. The media wasn't very much aware in the beginning, but just a few days later or a week later, when the governor mentioned many times about the role of the media, and he said, in the beginning he wasn't very friendly with the media, but later, just a bit later, perhaps he realized that the role of the media also very important, and he tend to say something like, I love all the media members. I love you all, and I respect what you are doing, and I hope you will cooperate with us. I think it's a kind of pressure, sort of pressure for the media in the field, frontline journalists, because they realize that it's the hidden, unspoken rules that they really have to respect. And the pressure among journalists in the front line became apparent in the very situation that they cannot breach the rule, unspoken rules, but it's a kind of requesting of coordination from the media members, and they respect, because they realize that this is the story about life and death of 12 footballers and the coach. So the media have to think of this aspect and to try to stop competing just to get the information. And once the governor tried to ask or try to request of this coordination more often, it turned out to be like good direction for the media as well. It's like working in tandem between the local government and the media. So that is one factor that directing the direction of how the media should cover the news each day or each hour of the day. But of course, the situation is still very, very tough for the media because it's competition. Every station, every news outlet want their rating, want public attention, want audience to read their news or to watch their TV. And that's where the line is. And of course, people would like to get exclusive interview. And then we hear comment from psychiatrists that, hey, media, you have to be very careful of the mind or of the quality or the situation of the family members of the footballer and the young boys themselves, that you have to be very careful not to try to get access and to compete just to get like a quote, just a few sentences. I think this turned out to be learning curve for the whole public, not only for among media in Thailand, but the foreign media as well, because it turned out to be human interest that the whole world spotlight is on Thailand, and of course we cannot deny that the media outlet have to respect with that. And with the exclusive interview, after Kun Sudichai had that long interview with the media, with the footballers one evening, the day or 2 days after, we see ABC News interviewed the boy, and of course we heard backlash against the foreign media outlet. This time it's no exception for foreign media, that they also are under pressure. Perhaps they don't like it because, of course, it's competitive and they want to have access, have exclusive interview with the boys. But after that, the Thai government have, Kun Visanu Krungam came out to say that, or Kun Thawatchai Thai Kieo say that it's illegal for the Thai media to try to have exclusive interview with the boys, at least for 1 month. We ask you to respect their privacy and to give them some time to adjust before coming back to normalcy, to their daily life. And I think that's quite powerful. I don't know whether this is right or wrong measure to try to control the media practice, but it turned out to be powerful in terms of the media feel we are being watched strongly, intensely by the public. And then once foreign media did that, violate the rules, the unspoken rules, there are backlash against them. And then there are by law that we were asked that we need to cooperate with this situation. So it turned out to be very strong practice that all media outlets who want to appear professional and respect code of ethics are following these guidelines. And I think it's new measurement, new mechanism for the Thai media, but it turned out to be powerful. I don't know whether it's the right or wrong, but you can see that if media literacy and the social mechanism are quite strong, it put pressure on the media to follow the guideline and to think of the public and come back to principle of being good journalism. And I find that's the good aspect that I find coming out from this very incident for the media in covering this kind of critical or crisis situation.
Very good. Yes, please.
But as executive director, deputy director of Thai PBS, there's a risk involved too, especially for the managers. So those who do management work or executive work at not only Thai PBS but other outlets, to monitor the response on the social media and put pressure to the editorial freedom or expression of the newsroom. Because actually we are not trained to do the stories that people like. Like or not liking, it's not in our vocabulary. What our term we are so concerned is veracity, whether it's true or not. And if this like or not like become the norm, and the people who do management referring to that and feed it back to the news, people will be at risk involved. Right now, Thailand's into this flooding possibility situation, and lately there's some complaints already that why Thai media are so concerned about the level of water in the dam. There's no flooding yet, So you want raining again, you want sensationalize and make someone look bad. There's some devious impetus behind all this trying to warn the people. Because for us, it's really important for the public to start to realize that there's a possibility of a flood. We don't wait, if you're a good journalist, you don't wait for the flood and then go and reporting, soak in the water. That's old style. What we want to do is prediction. We want to be there before so people get ready. But this kind of things already go around in the social media. A person like me, and we started to think to ourselves, oh, should we warn the newsroom that it's too premature to talk about the water in the reservoir? Or should we let them do their job? This is only my addition when we do this kind of dialogue about ethics and control and the efficiencies of the government in issuing the mandates in the media. There's something that we compromise on.
So when listen to two of you point of view, I have the feeling that the incident of the cave, the rescue operation, give a lot of lesson, not only to the media, it also give the lesson to the government. And you mentioned about the international media, when they did not follow up the rule, they also received the backlash from the public. And this is also another lesson for the international media, because the thing that they want to get is the first-hand information, exclusive interview, and so they don't care about the government regulations that, hey, stop the media, you cannot go that far. That's why the government arranged a press conference, and then Kun Sutichayu is the MC, is the moderator. What about, in this respect, what do you think about then? The media now, they are very careful, particularly the criticism of the public. That means the public now, they are alert, and also they've been informed, and the public also look very in details about the work of the media. What do you think about then media literacy? How are we going to educate our people that the media role, they should know, they don't go beyond, or maybe they have a very harsh criticism about the media. They also should be fair to the media. So what do you think, Dr. Nattha, about this aspect about media literacy?
I think it will be more important, much more important along the way. Thinking about social media, it's been around for perhaps 10 years. I think it's heard of more often in 2008 when President Obama, he mentioned that he used Twitter to seek support from the voters, and it became much more popular. And nowadays we cannot deny how important or how influential it is. And also professional media realize that power of us as gatekeeper has been lessened, and the power of finding, searching information and spread information has been released from professional media, and it's now in the hands of everyone. Everyone has smartphone, everyone has Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Anyone can spread information. It's like driving in highway and having no traffic jam, no regulation at all. You can do whatever you want because you own vehicle. You can go fast as long as you want. And media members in the beginning also realized new freedom as well, because we are free from editor, no filtering, and the media in the field do not have to ask editor in the newsroom what's the word they have to use or what they should do in order to write on their own Facebook. Everyone has freedom. But right now, I think it's become, even though it's still very slow, the natural process of mechanism, surveillance, or to regulating, self-regulating of the media by using social media in their report, in their coverage. And also it come back to media or to outlet of TV, radio, application, or the news, online news. I think it's natural process of having more regulation coming back to see what the media can do.